But first, a very important editorial note. In our last episode, we suggested that the places in the 100-meter sprint should not have been decided down to the thousandth of a second, after both Kishane Thompson and Noah Lyles were credited with the same time of 9.79. We were misinformed, and we passed that misinformation on to you. We also indicated that there was no window for an appeal to take place, and of course that was also incorrect, because the 30-minute window also still applies. For those errors, we apologize. We pride ourselves on being accurate, but on this occasion, our due diligence did not pass muster, and for that we are sorry. We'll do our best to ensure that going forward, such situations do not occur again. I'm Leighton Levy, and with me is my real friend, D Major.
Yes.
And today we look at the field events, specifically the throws, because they saved Jamaica the blushes and, of course, did Grenada proud. 6 of the 11 medals won by the English-speaking Caribbean came from the field. 3 of those 6 medals were from the throws. Rajinder Campbell's bronze in the men's shot put, Anderson Peters' bronze in the javelin, and of course, Roje Stona's incredible gold medal. In a field that included Christian Che, Daniel Stahl, Michaelos Alekna, and Andreas Guzios, the last person you thought was going to come out with an Olympic record and the gold medal was Roje Stona from Jamaica.
Yes.
And of course, that is where we start this week.
Yeah.
We touched on it last week, but certainly the impact of the performance itself needs an episode for itself, which is what we're doing today, because it's never happened before.
Yeah, man.
We've seen Frederick Dakers win silver at the World Championships in 2019. We've seen gold at the Commonwealth Games in the shot put from O'Dane Richards.
Yeah.
And of course, we've seen
other placings.
Anderson Peters,
top 5.
2 gold medals, 2019 and 22 at the World Championships in the javelin.
Yeah.
So the throws are beginning to gain ground in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But what we'll be discussing today, basically, D Major, is whether or not the success that we saw from Roje Stona will change the dynamic of how throws are approaching Jamaica. Just a quick note here, we just saw Keyshawn Walcott get a check for $250,000 TNT dollars from his government to fund his next campaigns going forward. So that's a start there. We've seen, of course, Olympic champion in 2012, bronze medalist in 2016, getting some funding there. Will that be the case in Jamaica?
I'm hoping it is. I think we have, the conveyor belt is there, from high school, and I hope this generates some even more interest, what Roje just did, which I believe it should, and you have great coaches. You have, Julian Robinson, as well as a whole cadre of great coaches. So I believe it's gonna, generate the interest from the kids and move, because everybody used to go over to the sprints, but we see the wealth, and we see the thing that the horizons being broad now and it's being shared in the field. So I think this has indicated these games, that is the silver lining, for me, and that is the positive I'm going to take away from this Olympics, that, the throws are stepping up.
Yeah, because it was not that long ago. Jason Morgan, for example, a mutual friend of both of us, went to the World Championships in 2009. 2011 and 2015. Of course, he didn't have the success that these guys are having now, but certainly he helped pave the way.
Definitely.
And since that time, we've seen Travis Michael, we've seen Ralford Munnings, we've seen Frederick Dakers, we've seen a lot of young Chad Wright come through. Of course, now we have Roje Stona, Ralford Munnings as well. And of course, in the shot put, we have Rajinder Campbell. So the throws are beginning to, I believe, build some kind of momentum towards even perhaps more medals at the global stage. We've done it at regional level. CSC, of course, we mentioned, of course, CSC games that, Dads won, Jason Morgan won.
Yes.
Yeah, at CSC.
Dads Morgan can throw a shot put.
Yeah.
Now, I believe, though, that this will inspire, as I said, the next generation and the present ones. Because sometimes that's all it takes, Leighton. You see, even in the sprints, it takes one person to break through on a level, and then you just see 3, 4, people breaking that barrier that was before elusive. So I'm sure this is going to inspire his, Roje's teammates, Jamaican teammates, and the people in the Caribbean as well, and also the next generation.
Yeah, but what will that look like though? Will we see more corporate sponsorship for throwers in Jamaica, you think? I mean, the fans are a different thing. We'll get to that in a minute. But given what we saw Roje Stona do now, Olympic record.
Why?
By the way, it's not a national record. A lot of people are reporting it's not a national record.
No.
The national record is 70.78 meters by Frederick Lakers.
Yes.
Right? And of course, so even though that was an Olympic record, it tells you where our throws have gone in the last decade or so. But the national record is 70.78, which is beyond the Olympic record. Because the Olympic record was 69.89.
Yeah.
And it's now 70 meters.
Wow.
Roje Stona becoming the second Jamaican to throw 70 meters in the discus.
Layton, we should talk about breaking that.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Not just before,
yeah.
you know, and watching that, you'd have thought that the competition would have been over by then, because when you do that, you break an Olympic record.
Yeah.
And the person who broke it as well. You know, you would think that he would have been the best on the day, but it wasn't so. So big kudos to Roje Stona, you know, having his biggest throw ever at the right time, and that is what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to touch on what you said, corporate Jamaica, you know, we're sounding the alarm. If this is not enough for corporate Jamaica to get involved, then I don't know what else would be, you know?
Yeah, because one of the things that I find interesting is that, I mean, I've known, like, Michael Vassell, who's one of the organizers, like the Big Shot meet.
Yeah.
And there's another meet down by Excelsior High School.
King of the Ring or something like that.
King of the Ring, right.
Yeah.
And I know the challenge of getting sponsorships for those meets.
Right.
Because at some point along the way, I have also been involved in trying to raise sponsorship for some of those meets.
Right.
And it's not easy in coming.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering now if this gold medal will show
this should be enough.
That
you know?
is possible.
Yeah, man. This should be enough for corporate Jamaica, and you know, sponsors from wherever, whether private or whatever, to react. You know, what else do you need? You know, to be convinced.
That
you know what I'm saying?
is there.
So yeah, this should be enough. You know, and we implore, this, you know, who can do so. You know, to get going and support the athletes from that level before them throwing goal, and then everybody and knock pot cover and away. There's a process. It's a stage. It's climbing a ladder. So yeah, man. As I said, the King of the Rings, the big shots, and all of those meets. You know, yeah.
Yeah, because what people tend to not understand, to get to that level, you need the nutrition, especially because these guys are big, strong guys. They need to build muscle. The implements are expensive.
Definitely.
You know, the
gear,
a javelin and a
footwear,
discus, they're expensive implements. So the kids need that kind of opportunity to be able to, first of all, get access to these kind of things.
Right.
And the nutrition to be able to then develop in the way in which to make them, I mean, Roje Stona is not a small man.
Yeah, and not only the discus, you know, right across the board, since you touch on that lane, right across the board, you know, the need, as I said, nutrition, you know, hydration, and this is daily.
Yeah,
that you know, so simple things like that. It takes some effort. It takes some resources.
Yeah, because throwers need about a lot of athletes actually need about 10,000 calories a day.
Listen, man,
that's a lot of nutrition, you know, and some of them are come from backgrounds that can't afford that.
Yeah, I've gotten a chance to see certain high school camps. And listen, me, if the sprinters and the distance runners don't get to the food line first, when the throwers get there, nothing don't live. May I tell you that? So the throwers they take a lot to feed, the throwers alone.
A lot of protein,
yeah, man.
A lot of carbs. You know, they need that food.
Trust me.
You know, but beyond the corporate sponsorship, though, Major, because you know that I think, you know, ringing that bell, I think somewhere along the way the process will start, especially now, especially when the throwers actually saved, especially Jamaica, these championships.
Yes.
Where the sprinters didn't deliver.
Wow.
And when you look at what Roje Stona did, the only gold medal that came from...
And in fine fashion.
And in fine fashion, Olympic record fashion. But will it convince the fans? Because you know we're obsessed with the speed in the Caribbean.
Yeah, and I don't think that will change then. You know, there's a certain excitement that the sprints carry that I don't think that can be replaced. However, you know, this shows that, you know, it is indeed track and field. You know, so it's more than track. You know, and I think that is what this Olympics proved. You know, and the field got a chance to do their thing then in the absence of the track.
And I understand that.
Definitely.
You know, from Arthur Wint, Herb McKinley, George Roden, Lennox Miller, Donald Quarry, Raymond Stewart, Michael Green, Usain Bolt, you know, Shelley and Fraser Price, Merlin Natif, you know, Elaine Thompson. That's where the excitement is.
That is where the excitement is.
But as you rightly pointed out, though, it's more than just track. And the success of a country's team, as we saw in this particular instance, was not because of the sprinters. Was because of the field.
The throwers, and the field.
And the field event, the long jump, of course, when you look at it, the triple jump and the long jump both got medals at the Olympic Games as well.
Yeah.
You know, so it's more than that, and it also comes down again to how it's covered as well.
That too.
Because I mean, give example, the Michael Johnson's track league that he's starting does not include field events any at all.
See, because he's trying to bring what he believes carries the excitement, which is the track. Most of the sprints from 1 to 4, you know, maybe a 8 and a 15 here and there, the 4 hurdles as well, and the sprint hurdles. But that is what most people will tend to cover, because they feel that will get them clicks and stuff, which is true. You know, those are the exciting events. But a little context. What Roje Stona did, if you understand the discourse, the field that Roje Stona beat Leighton is nothing normal.
Guzios world champion, Daniel Stahl world champion, as an Olympic champion, champion.
Yes.
Guzios world record holder.
It's nothing normal.
Not a normal thing.
No.
And to your point, so just to switch the disciplines for a second.
Yeah.
If you remember how the javelin unfolded, it was one of the most exciting events.
Yes.
Because after Anderson Peters threw 88, 50, it's like the entire field exploded after that.
Crazy.
89, 90
that's what
meters.
I'm telling you.
You know, so it's just that I believe people need to give these events a chance to see what it's like to cover these, to the competition in these events. Because you're talking about the best of the best of the best, you know. And when who expected the Pakistani guy, you know, who his entire community had to raise money to send him to the Olympics and come out and pop a 92-meter throw.
The man have a fast bowler shoulder, man.
Exactly. Man, just stone mango too.
I'll tell you.
You know. Yeah,
but it takes some spending time with. You have to be a real track fan to watch these events, to learn the athletes, you know, and their potential, and understand what they can do. And when you do that, and then you see that the performance is raised, it's just like exciting.
Yeah, because it can, to me, look, and I'm a purist, so I can separate myself from the casual track and field fan.
Definitely.
Right? But the reality is the throws can be just like the jumps as well, can be just as exciting, because it's mano a mano. Somebody throws something at 89 meters. I used to do that in prep school. You see a man fling a stone and say, okay, you drop out there, so. And you say, okay, you can throw it a little bit farther.
Same principle, just a little more organized.
Yeah, a little more energy. And these are the best in the world at the event.
Even the 1500 though. Look at the 1500 Leighton. Like that. It's not a traditional event that most people watch, but that was so exciting this year. You know, it was unpredictable. Who came and won that? Nobody, I don't think, did predict that.
I cannot call Hawker still, but
to win?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but I didn't say it publicly. Actually,
probably
I was
by
telling
yourself.
my family that if anybody could steal a match, it would be him. But and he did. You know, which that was another exciting. But the thing about it is that if you're following the sport. I'm not saying it can't just be the sprints, because you like what you like. Huh? You can't tell somebody to like something that they don't like.
Right.
But all I'm saying here, and I'm vouching for the throwers now and the field eventers in general. Give it a chance, see what they do, and appreciate the competition, because it's just as exciting. Yeah, the 100 and 200 are less than 10 seconds and less than 20 seconds.
Right.
These events.
Once you get to understand it, as I say, once you spend time, understand the competitors, understand the event, understand what is at stake, and how close they might be to in potential, and that makes it that much more exciting. And
it's dramatic, because it stretches out over a longer period of time.
Yeah, man, that's
and
what
the drama is there, because then you have a chance to see what another man jump or another girl jump, and then see how you can beat that.
Sometimes, remember, you get like first 3 attempts, whether jumps or throws, and based on that, you earn yourself another 3. So sometimes even the favorite is on the 3rd attempt and has not made it in the top 8 to get the last 3, and that is the one that they. So it can be very exciting, very thrilling, very dramatic.
I'm hoping that this will allow the fans to start to appreciate, the throws in that regard, because I think to be honest, the throwers don't make that much money. Primarily because they don't get as much TV time as the sprinters do.
That is it.
But the reality is that they can just be as intriguing, even more so than the sprints. You know, but the big question though, you know, going back to Roje, is will the sport be able to keep him, Major? I mean,
because of what else is on the horizon for him?
Yeah, because the reality is that he tried out for the Green Bay Packers and the New Orleans Saints.
Looking positive too.
They say he has work to do, obviously, because he never played the sport before.
Yeah, but they can fix that.
But they can fix that.
Yeah.
The potential is there, and they have a lot of positive things to say about him.
Right.
He's big, he's strong. Obviously, he's going to have good speed because that's part of the requirement as well.
Right.
But does the sport keep him? I mean, can we keep him?
Does this? I mean, if he walks now, he won an Olympic gold, breaking the Olympic record. You know, what else? And how else we can convince him? You know, as you say, he might be looking out for his best interest, monetary-wise.
Yeah.
You know, and if he goes and does the NFL thing, that is going to be a very hefty sum.
Yeah, the paycheck. Look, the average career in the NFL is about 4.5 years, I think.
Right.
Not last time because injuries play a significant part because it's a very physical sport. But what you couldn't make in those 4 years,
right, he
may not make for his entire career in track and field.
That is what I'm saying.
You
so
know,
he might be convinced now to say, hey, one and done. Where track and field is concerned, and I don't think we can be mad at that.
No, you can't.
If he makes that decision, because come on now, as I said, Olympic champion 2024, Olympic record holder, you know, at the pinnacle of that. At the pinnacle.
The only thing missing right now is the world record.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's not very attainable because
no, that's
74.35.
It's questionable, as you say.
Yeah.
You know.
not very many people
a
get
lot of things would have to go right, you know, and in terms of conditions and probably venue.
Yeah, and to be fair, look, I mean, any athletic career, you don't know how long it's going to be, you don't know how short it's going to be.
Right.
You have to make hay while the sun shines.
Right. Nowadays, that is very much so.
With what we're seeing with the sport and how sports can be cruel because you can be king today and you're down tomorrow because of an injury. The reality is that if he walks away from track and field, nobody could blame him right now.
No.
You know, so that's the worry. That's the worry. Or he could actually do both. I mean, the reality is we've seen other athletes do both sports.
Yeah, but because it's such a technical event though lately. It demands so much time to discuss. So I'm not sure how he would balance that. And then the wear and tear of the NFL is too demanding sports. I don't think he could balance both, you know. So if he's to choose, I'm sure he's gonna choose what is right.
Yeah, it'd be sad to see him go, but it'd be perfectly understandable because the reality is that you know, he's not going to get any younger.
Yeah, no.
You know, and I'm sure that he has other objectives in life. He want for them nest properly.
There you
go. He want to get a house in family. He want to take care of him if he has kids, or eventually if he has kids.
And as I say, while the sun shine.
Yeah.
You know, but big up Roje Stona, big up Monk Street.
Yeah.
You know, big up Rossi's as well.
Rossi's, Real St. Diego.
Yeah, man.
You know,
big them up.
Because, you know, and you have to give credit as well to the high school coaches here in Jamaica as well, because over the past few years, they've produced quite a number of world-class throwers. I mean, for the first time in Jamaica's history, they had 3 men in the discus final. Ralford Mullings, Roje Stona,
and Travis
Michael.
Indeed. And so that's what I'm saying, Ole. And this field and the way how everything, you know, what was set up is a big field. This was a big field and this was a big achievement, you know, for Jamaica and the Caribbean at large, you know. So, as I say, it is still a hard pill to swallow, you know, Paris 2024, but these are the positives for me when I look on the picture, you know, overall.
Yeah, so come down to the nitty-gritty now. Do we see more resources being poured into the throws across the region, not just in Jamaica, but across the region? We mentioned Trinidad at the top of the show.
With Kishan and Kishan. So that's a good start. That's a good sign early. So if you know, if more people, more, you know, more the islands can follow suit, you know, and get the support behind their athletes, you know, the athletes that we see. Because there's somebody from Grenada as well.
Anderson Peters,
What's his name? Peters, right? Thank you. You know, we have so much potential, you know, to even probably try to dominate.
Yeah, a two-time world champion. I'm not sure what is happening in Grenada. I would love to hear from them as to how that goes, because we haven't really seen anybody else come through from Grenada yet.
No.
I know Trinidad had Tariq Horsford, but he retired a couple of years ago because of injury. Because he's been constantly been plagued by injury, so he decided to call it a day. But we haven't really seen another thrower from Trinidad as well.
Emerging, right. But with this, we should say, you know, I believe that they should have a nursery there, you know, honing more talent in both Grenada and Trinidad and elsewhere. You know, this should spur, as I say, interest. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a young kid from the Bahamas called. I remember he threw out character games a couple of years ago.
Yes. He's in college. He's in college.
Yeah, he's in college. So
won by
yeah, he won comfortably. And the character games that was held in Jamaica.
Yeah.
He threw. It was I think it was a championship record that year as well. So we're having these pockets of young throwers coming through,
which is how it should start.
Yeah, and I think now what we've seen in the Caribbean with how well, even with Kishorn came 7th at the Olympic Games, but he's a two-time medalist, and he made the top 8 in the finals again.
This time around.
It tells you that
still has a presence.
He's a presence, and the opportunity is there for other young throwers to come, because not everybody's going to run fast.
No.
Not everybody's going to jump far.
Right.
Yeah, you know, Kishorn did. I think he had a season's best. 86 meters and change.
So his best throw
in the Olympic final
for the season this year.
So that's his best throw for the season. And remember, now, he's not a newcomer. He's an Olympic champion, Olympic bronze medalist. And coming here through his best, coming off an injury.
Yeah, but by his standards, you could tell that he had a challenging season. It's not easy. These athletes have it hard. Sometimes we see them, performing probably subpar to what we expect. But it's tough. It's tough for many reasons, But big up Kishan, see him.
Yeah, you think there should be more throws meets though? I mean, now that we've seen what is possible.
Internationally?
No, man, locally. I mean, when I say local, I mean within the region. Maybe a regional throws meet.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
With the talent that we see, spreading all over. That would be interesting, Leighton. That is a good, like how we have world relays too.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, because Nakaka thing could probably create like a throws meet for
a throws championship.
Yeah, for the best throws in the region, which helps the iron sharpens iron.
What a good idea, Leighton.
And then it could be rotated from year to year in the card periodically across the region.
Patent that, Leighton. Copyright that.
Yeah, because because the reality is
seriously,
we have the trap meets everywhere.
Yeah.
So the athletes get a chance to run, and it's not every meet that gets. The throwers get an opportunity to shine. To get
because the quality competition as well. Quality competition does a lot for you. You can do so much in training, but the competition and quality competition, as you say, iron sharp iron.
Yeah, because here's what Naka has. Naka has a Ryan Crozer. They have not just Crozer, but the raft of throwers out of America.
Oh man.
Who are among the best in the world.
That's all they need right now.
Yeah, that's all
they need.
And you have them against some of the best from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And have them go at each other. And maybe it's even two meets a year within the region, because then they get to exchange notes. Because remember now, Ryan Crozer actually coached Roje Stona.
Yes.
Right? So the exchange of information would be something that I think would benefit the throwers in the region as well.
Always.
All right? And, while America doesn't have any great javelin throwers right now, the fact is that they could invite throwers from outside of from Europe, where some of the best throwers are.
Yeah. India,
I've Chopra, Naseem from Pakistan.
I'm sure they would want to come
to
the tropics.
Come to the tropics, and the key thing for me is exchange of information.
Yeah.
And once the athletes are then able to get that kind of feedback, because just to switch events, remember Malik James King, after he ran 48.4, it was at Racers Grand Prix. And he went abroad. He was invited to a Diamond League meet.
Right.
And then the information that he got.
Yeah, seeing the warm-ups and everybody, how they go about the warm-up,
exactly.
Their
therapy, warm-ups and their preparation.
Therapy and everything, yes.
Came back around 47.4. Right? Which tells you that just being exposed to that those kind of conditions.
That's what it is.
Allows for developing athletes to improve.
Man, and progress. Yeah.
You know, so maybe the same could work for the throwers as well.
Tough one for Malik James King as well. Boy, lately remind me of everything. But you know, I'm sure he and his coach, you know, Greg Little, would have garnered a whole lot of information from this. And I expect him to do well coming next year.
Yeah, and I think he's young enough. He's still just a few years out of high school.
Yeah.
You know, along with Roshan Clark, who just turned 20
Roshan
as well.
again, you know, in the finals.
You know, so
tough one.
They have experienced, they have been exposed to that exchange of information, which has benefited both of them.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, the youngsters coming out of high school, we saw some very promising kids at champs in Jamaica this year.
Indeed.
So maybe now with Stona, with Schmeichel, with Ralford Mullings, with Rajinder Campbell, who almost quit a few years ago because of the absence of resources.
Yeah, what a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, it's redemption for a lot of the throwers, and also perhaps a new opportunity for them to take it even a step further now that Roje Stona has shown you what's possible.
Yes.
And this could be, I'm hoping that it's a breakthrough for the region in a major way. Especially in the discus, because we've had it in the javelin before, with Anderson Peters winning 2 world championships back to back, actually 2019 and 2022, winning the javelin at the world championships. But we haven't really seen the emergence of any young throwers coming through yet.
No.
I mean, except for the kid in Bahamas, Strand, that we mentioned earlier on.
Right.
But for the discus, it could be the dawn of a new age.
Indeed.
And that's what I'm hoping for.
To kind of segue a little bit relating, I want to say, Daniel Thomas, Dad, keep going. Keep going, my dear. You have our full support. Do not stop, you know. Do not allow this to make it. Tough one. We see what happened. Her second Olympics, and Olympics is every 4 years, finishing 13th. Now it's the top 12 go Leighton. So that must be disheartening, but I want to encourage Daniel Thomas, Dad, today to keep going. Don't stop. Yeah.
Yeah, keep pushing. I mean, sometimes there's a phrase that says, sometimes it's darkest just before the dawn.
Just before, and it's so true.
And I think, I know her, I feel her frustrations.
Yes.
And we understand the dynamic of it because, you know, look, one of the things is that I think our associations, our federations here can do a better job.
Yeah, it's a whole show that, you know, Leighton. I just want to say that real quick still, you know, to encourage her, word of encouragement, Daniel.
Yeah, but the reality is that Daniel, you know, to echo what you're saying, keep pushing.
Yes. Because
the end of the road is not near. You're still young enough. You're maybe a little bit tweaked in terms of her approach to the whole thing. Maybe this is a learning experience as well. Because look, one of the things with Daniel is that we've seen her how far she can throw this thing. She's thrown 19.3.
Yeah.
If she threw 19.3 in Paris, she would have been on the podium, I think, if I remember correctly.
It's a technical event again, and as I said, the challenge without our coach for 2 weeks, that would take away stuff.
Yeah, and the explanation that the J3 had that our husband and coach was in the stadium for the day of the competition.
It's a whole other show this in a Leighton.
It's rubbish, I know, but because here's the thing. If he wasn't there for the 2 weeks, being there for the day, he's not going to make a difference because any mistakes or any technical flaws that would have crept into her practice in the last 2 weeks would not be able to change on the day. You know, as I say, that annoys me because the reality of it is that had he been there for the 2 weeks prior to the competition, maybe she would have been in the top 12.
I agree with him.
And being there on the day of the final is like the horse has already gone through the gate.
Don't get upset. Don't get upset.
Yeah, and the day pass doesn't allow him to coach.
No, so you can't do much with that.
You know, it's.
However, Leighton, how are you feeling about the sprints going forward? A lot of people, the competition, I see a lot of comments, and keep the comments coming, everyone.
Yeah.
You know,
a lot of people saying. We'll get back to reading your comments on
even the, people from the competition are saying, Jamaica is done now and all of that and whatever. How you feel about that?
This is going to tease into next week and the week after this, but no, just a quick comment on it because we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
We are far from done.
I believe so.
We have we're looking at Crystal Slowly, the Clayton twins, Brianna Liston. Hopefully Brianna Williams comes back next year. Hopefully Kemma Nelson finds a breakthrough.
Right.
There are so many young women sprinters, and of course we're seeing Kishane Thompson.
I am so
we're
optimistic.
Looking at Akeem Blake. We're looking at, I mean, Oblique eventually I think will overcome the injury challenges. But look, we'll get more back into that in the weeks to come.
Yeah, man.
Next week we hope to have a surprise guest for you to talk about an interesting dynamic that we saw at the Paris Olympic Games.
It's going to be wonderful.
And of course we'll be talking about that next week. So of course we're at the end of this week's episode, folks, but we'll be here next week, coming back out of the blocks with the biggest stories, news and views in track and field. As always, remember to subscribe, like and share, and then we'll see you next week.
Surprise guest next week.
Look forward to that.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.